Hey everyone, I hope everybody's taking care of and it's good. Just wanted to apologize with you guys yesterday. I had some issues with YouTube. There was for some reason I couldn't post. So I'm retrying this video to again today. Hopefully it's uploaded by today with no problem. All right. So I'm gonna go over lesson 7 homework, and then after that, I'm gonna go over lesson 8 and introduce it to you guys. So I'm gonna jump in right ahead. Okay. Again, going over lesson 7. Okay. Thank you for everybody that has turned in lesson 7 to me. Okay. Giving the pair points determine whether the segment that joins them is horizontal, vertical, or neither. Okay. 3, 5, and 2, 5. Okay, this one, these type of questions right here work really good when we use an actual coordinate plane. It's easier to see, easier to understand, and it's very good to have visuals in front of you. All right. This one, if you see that the y's are the same, but these are traveling through the x-axis. Okay, when it's traveling through the x-axis, like I mentioned on Friday, it's horizontal. Okay, these ones, both numbers change. These are opposites. That's -4, +4, +9, -9. They're neither, so it's gonna be a diagonal line. It's gonna do this. Okay, the top one does this, and then this one is horizontal. Okay, and the reason it's horizontal is going through the y-axis. So if you notice, the x's don't change, but the y's do, 1 and 4. Okay. This one, we have to complete the table using absolute value to determine the length of the line segments, as we reviewed these past few days as well. Okay, we talked about noticing which are the numbers that change. Okay, x's stay the same. I'm sorry, x's change, y stay the same. That's -3. That's +7. The distance is 10. Okay. And the proof is absolute value of -3 plus 7 equals 10. Okay. This one is the y stay the same, but the x's change. So the distance is 7. Okay, think about it as a number line, like I've mentioned. It's saying the absolute value of 1 plus the absolute value of -6, which is 7. Following one, x's change, y stay the same. The distance is 6. Okay, so the absolute value of -9 minus the absolute value of -3, which is 6. This one, the y's change, okay, which is 15. Okay. From 1 to 16 is 15 spaces or units or distance. So it's like saying the absolute value of 16 minus the absolute value of 1, which is 15. And then the last one, from 0 to 12, is 12. So the absolute value of 12 plus the absolute value of 0 is 12. All right. Look at the bottom ones. Okay, now we have a polygon right there. Okay. And again, it's asking us to complete the table using the absolute value. So we have point 8B. Okay, so we look at point A. So it's good to count where it's at. So this one is 7 spaces to the left, which these right here are the negative x's, and these are the negative y's, positive y and positive x. So it traveled 7x. So it's -7. And it goes up 8 spots, connects to the y, which is +8. Okay. So this is -7, +8. Okay, and this one, we're gonna look at B. It's 5 spaces to the right, which on the positive axis, and then 8 spaces up to the Y, which is, this is 5, 8. Okay, and the distance, okay, so we gotta look at the distance. It's 7 spaces to get to 0, and then plus 5 is 12. And then the proof, absolute value of -7 plus the absolute value of 5 is 12. Okay, now I'm gonna look at B again. I know that the point B, which I already labeled, is 5, 8. Now I gotta look at C. Again, it travels 5 spaces to the right, which is 5 positive X, and then goes 5 spaces up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 5Y. Okay, so this one's 5, 5. Okay, and if I look, the X's are the same, Y's change. The distance between 8 and 5 is 3. So it's like saying the absolute value of 8 minus the absolute value of 5 is 3. Okay, I know CD, which is for sure C is 5, 5. And now D, I notice that it traveled 2 to the left on the X, which is the -2. And it goes up 5, connects to the Y, so it's positive. So this is -2, positive 5. And the distance, okay, between 5 to get to 0 is 5, and 2 more is 7. So the absolute value of 5 plus the absolute value of -2 is 7. Okay. And then again, we start at D, -2, 5. And then E, it travels 2 to the left on the X, which is -2. And went down 4 spots to the negative Y's, which is -4. Okay, so this one is -2, -4. And look at the distance. The X's stay the same. This one, 5 to get to 0 is 5, and 4 more is 9. Okay, so the absolute value of 5 plus the absolute value of -4 is 9. Okay, again, E. Now on this one, we EF. We already have that one. Now I'm going to look at F. F traveled 7 to the left, which is -7. So it's on the negative X's, and went down 4 to the negative Y's, which is -7, -4. And the distance, okay, the Y stay the same. The X's change, okay, from -2 to -7. How many spaces is that? It's 5. Okay, so the absolute value of -7 plus the absolute minus the absolute value of -2 is 5. And the very last one, we know that A is -7, -8. So the distance between -4 and -8 is 12. And now we can say the absolute value of -4 plus the absolute value of 8 is 12. All right, and you can actually count by hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You can count by hand just to double check, all right? If you want to pause the video really quick and look at those steps, you guys did awesome. I'm just going over it just to review it again and keep our minds fresh on this. But everybody, that you guys did amazing on this. This was a big hurrah for everybody. Hey, but I still like to go over it just to double check that 100% we're on page and it just stays embedded in our mind, right? We look at the next one, okay? Point A and point B. So from point A to point B. So we gotta label what's the point A and what's point B. So point A, I traveled 7 to the left for X, which is -7. And I traveled 8 spaces up, which is +8. So this point is -7, +8. And then point B, okay, I traveled 8 spaces to the right and 8 spaces up, which is 8 to 8. Okay, and remember these are the Y negatives and these are the X negatives, all right? So this side is X negatives, this side is Y negatives. And I look at the distance, okay, it's 15 spaces in between, okay. -7 to get to 0 is 7 plus 8 is 15. So the absolute value of a -7 plus the absolute value of 8 is 15. Okay. Now we're going to look at CG, which is from here to here. From CG, okay, I traveled 7 spaces to the right and 3 spaces up. So this is 7, 3. And with G, okay, I traveled 3 spaces to the right and 3 spaces up, which is 3, 3. And the distance between 7 to 3 is 4. The absolute value of 7 minus the absolute value of 3 is 4. Okay, now we're going to look at CF. We already know for C that point C is 7, 3. And point F, which is right here, that's what we need to find. Okay, it traveled 5 to the left, which is -5, and went up 3 spaces, which is +3. 1, 2, 3. And we want to find the distance between +7 and -5. So from here to here, and I forgot to label it, it's 12 spaces. If I actually count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so the absolute value of 7 plus the absolute value of -5 is 12. All right, now GF. So I know that G is 3, 3, and F is -5, 3. What's the distance between 3 and -5? Okay, you can count again from G to F. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, same thing here. Okay, -5, it takes 5 spots to get to 0. 3 more, that's 8. So the absolute value of -5 plus the absolute value of 3 is 8. All right, DH. Now we gotta find these two, D and H. So I'm gonna do D first. Okay, and that travels 5 spaces to the right and 6 spaces down. This one is a tricky one because some people are gonna count this way, some people are gonna count diagonal. Make sure you count straight down exactly where it's located. So I'm gonna start from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, and it's on landing on the negative y, so it's 5, -6. And then H, okay, it stayed on the y-axis. So for x is 0, and it went 6 spaces down, so it's -6. Okay, so this one is 0, -6. And the distance between 5 and 0 is 5. So it's like saying the absolute value of 5 plus the absolute value of 0 is 5. Next one, DE. Well, D already know is 5, -6. And E, we only travel 1 space to the left on the X, which is -1, and 6 down, which is -6. And the distance between 5 and -1 is 6. So it's like saying pause, absolute value of 5 plus the absolute value of -1, which is 6. All right, and it's 6 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. -1, -6. All right, and now H, G. So we already know that H is 0, -6. And J, I'm sorry, J is all the way up here. Now it's in the y-axis. Okay, it's in the y-axis, so X is 0, and it traveled 8 spaces up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so what's the distance between -6 and -8? You can count from here to here. From H to J, that should be 14. Okay, so it's like saying the absolute value of -6 plus the absolute value of 8 is 14. Right? And I forgot to label this one. And the last ones, K and L. That's what we need to find. So the first one is K. It traveled 3 spaces to the left, 1, 2, 3. So it's a -3. and went up 8 spaces up. So it's positive 8. And then L traveled 3 spaces to the left as well, and only went up 1, 2, 3. So it's positive 3. The difference between 8 and 3 is 5. So the absolute value of 8 minus absolute value of 3 is 5. All right. Pause it if you need any questions. Again, we went over this. Some of you gave me very good examples for these, and I'm just gonna write an example of how 2 coordinates that might make vertical lines that have a distance of 8. That's right there. 5 plus positive, the absolute value of 5 plus the absolute value negative 3 is 8. Okay, so it'll look something like this. And then 2 points in the same quadrant that form a horizontal line that it's 5 units at length. I'm going to use this one. Okay, so the absolute value of negative 9 plus minus the absolute value of negative 4 is 5. And it'll make a line like that, all right? We did go over this, just want to explain it to you really quick. If you need to pause it, all right? Let me know, all right? So I'm going to jump into lesson 8 as we introduce it, and we did this part of this lesson through our virtual classroom. So I just have a blank sheet of paper and continuing doing this. We're drawing polygons in the coordinate plane. So we start off plot, connect the points A, which is 3, 2. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and then 2. So that's point A. Point B, 3, 7. 1, 2, 3. And 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's point B. And point C, 8, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 2, 1, 2. And there's point C. It's telling us to plot and connect. So now what I'm going to do is connect the points. Boom. Okay. And it's telling us to name the shape. What type of shape is there? There's a clue right here, even in the corner. It's a right triangle, like you guys mentioned to me in the virtual classroom, which was so quick and legit, and determine the area of the polygon. All right. So if I look from point A to point C, from point A to point C, the y stay the same, which is 2. What's the distance between 3 and 8? It's 5. All right. 5 units. Oh, you can also count it by hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That also works on this particular problem, like I mentioned, right? It won't always work using your hand. This is just an introduction, okay? And then from point A to B, the x's stay the same, but the y's change. What's the different distance between 7 and 2? It's 5. Or you can also double check with this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So your base is 5 and your height is 5. So we're going to use the formula base and height times 1/2. You can also flip it and say 1/2 times base times height. All right. Is it this way? So for this problem, my base is 5. My height is 5 times 1/2. All right. I'm going to make them into fractions and multiply across. Okay. So again, I'm getting my 5s from my base and my height. Base times height times 1/2. So I'm using this formula, plugging in to the variables. 5 times 5 is 25 plus times 1, 25. 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 times 2 is 2. And then I'm going to show my work and divide. Okay, 2 goes into 2 one time, which is 2. Remainder 0, bring down the 5. 2 goes into 5 2 times, which is 4. Remainder 1. I'm going to borrow. Okay, and when we're working with coordinate planes, we always use decimals. Okay, it's more precise, easier to work with. 2 goes into 10 5 times. And here you go. That's the area of the triangle, which is 12.5 or 12.5 units squared. All right. So that's the formula. That's the area for this triangle right here. Okay. That's the area. And that you can actually go in and count them, and it's actually going to add up to 12.5 units. All right. If you have any questions on this, pause it, send me a video, a message to Class Dojo or email. Okay. These back three also go in with this actual coordinate plane. So we're going to be flipping back and forth. All right. We're going to be flipping back and forth. So here we go. I have this very page here in my computer. So I'm going to be flipping it and reading it. Plot and connect the points. We're going to do the same thing. Point E, point F, and point G. Then give the best name for the polygon and determine the area. All right. So the points it wants me to plot, it's point E, which is -8, +8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then +8. So I'm going to go 8 spaces up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's point E. -8, +8. So I got it from here. Next one is -2, +5. 1, 2, +5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's point F. And point G is -7, +2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2. Point G. And then it's telling us, so I have here the points. It wants us to plot and connect, give it a name of the polygon, and find the area. So I'm going to connect it. Right. Now, in order for me, this is very hard to find the area of shapes doing this. All right. So what we need to do is how we did on the previous lessons, where we were finding the area of like the windows, the door, adding the area of the windows and the door and subtracting it from the entire surface area, because that's the point of these lessons, finding the surface area of the wall to find out how many gallons of paint we were going to use. So what we need to do here, okay, on these triangles that are flipped and to the side, we need to get creative and help ourselves out. And in my case, I'm going to make it into a square. Okay, so now I have a square here. So everything I did in black is a square. So this on the outside, if you notice, it's a square. But if you also notice, I have 3 triangles. I have this right triangle right here. Okay, I have this right triangle right here, and I have this right triangle here. So I have 3 right triangles. I have a square, and I have this tilted triangle, right? So what I'm going to have to do is find the area of this triangle. I'm going to have to find the area of this triangle, and I have to find the area of this right triangle. I'm going to add the area of these 3 triangles, okay, and subtract them from the area of this square, and it'll give us the area of this triangle, all right? Same as we did. Imagine this is one window, this is the other window, and this is the door. We added the area of the windows, the door, and subtracted it from the entire wall, and it would let us know how much we need to paint, okay? It's kind of what we do here. So, so I'm going to go back, and I'm going to find the area of a square. So area of square. So I'm going to begin with the square. Okay. And the formula we use to find the area of a square is S square. Some of you guys use length times width, base times height. Since all the sides are the same, I use side. S represents side to the second power, which means we're going to multiply the same number twice because all the sides of a square are equal. And I can either count by hand, okay, and it'll let me know, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see if it worked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a square. All sides are equal. So this is 6. This side is 6. This side is 6. And this side is 6. So it's a 6 by 6. Okay. Square. So I'm going to say A S squared. Okay. And then maybe rephrase that. It's 6 units squared. Okay. Which at the end, which is 6 times 6 is 36 units squared. All right. So that's the area of the square. Okay. Now I'm going to find the area of triangle 1. Okay. And this is going to be my triangle 1. Okay. This is going to be my triangle 1. Okay. And I'm just going to put like a little 1 here just so I know. It's not anything, but just going to remind myself. So if I look at here, my base, okay, my base for this one is only 1 space. So my base is going to be 1, and it's the height is, remember, it's 6. So remember, for this side is 6. This is also 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my height is 6. So the formula we use for a triangle is area equals base times height times 1/2. Okay. So my base is 1 and my height is 6. So I'm going to do 1 times 6 times 1/2. Okay. Base times height. Multiply times 1. Go across. 6 over 2. Which in this case, area equals 3 units squared. So that's the area of the super skinny triangle. All right. Which is this one. Okay. That's that one. And then I'm going to go on to triangle 2. And let's see, which one can I make triangle 2? I'm going to make this one. Should I make this one triangle 2? I'm going to make this one triangle 2. I'll put a little 2 right there. That's going to be triangle 2. So area, triangle 2. Area equals base times height times 1/2. Area equals, so I'm going to find the base. So my base, remember, all sides of this square are 6. So this base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the base is 6. And the height is from this point to here, 1, 2, 3. So base times height, so it's 6 times 3. So 6 times 3 times 1/2. Okay. If I multiply across, it's 6 times 3, which is 18, divided by 2. So the area is 9 units squared. 18 divided by 2 is 9. All right. So that's the area of that one. And then this is going to be triangle 3. Okay. All right, we're going to find the base and the height. So the height is 1, 2, 3. And the base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be 5 times 3 base times height divided by 2. 5 times 3 divided by 2. So area, triangle 3. Area equals base times height times 1/2. Area equals, we said 5 was the base, height 3 times 1/2. Multiply going across, 5 times 3 is 15. And 1 times 1 is 2. And 15 divided by 2 is 7.5 units squared. All right. So now what we need to do is we need to get the areas, all right? We need to get the area of the square, and we're going to subtract it from all these areas, all right? Minus 3, minus 9, minus 7.5. And that's going to let us know what's the area of this triangle, the one we first drew. And that's going to let us know the area of that triangle, okay? So 36 minus 3, that's 33. Minus 9 minus 7.5. Okay, 33 minus 9 is 20. Let's see, 25, 24 minus 7.5. And 24 minus 7.5. Okay, need to borrow here. Need to borrow here. 13 minus 7 is 6. I brought this one down, and then this one becomes 10. 16.5. So the area of the entire triangle is 16.5 units squared. All right, so this is the area for this one. All right, if you have any questions on that, let me know. We did go over this yesterday. Again, I'm reviewing this. If you need to pause the video at this moment so you look at the steps, pause it. If you need to rewind, again, I encourage you to rewind. All right. So I'm gonna jump to number 3, asking us the same thing to plot and connect the points. And here are the points that they're giving us. So now this one has 4 points. Give the best name for the polygon. So this one, again, these are the names for the top one. As you know, we have a square and 3 triangles, right? So we named it. So we're doing the same thing for now. This one, we're gonna get these points and plot them, all right? So we have point K, L, M, and N. So I'm gonna look at point 3, and it's telling me to do point K, which is negative 9, 7. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and travel 7 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is point K. Next one is point L, which is negative 4, negative 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Point L. Next one is point M. Negative 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm sorry, guys, if my hand is trembling a lot. I got a little bit of allergies going on, and I get a little shaky. So sorry about my trembling. And point N, which is negative 5, negative 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's point N. Okay. And then it wants us to plot these points. So here we go. I'm going to try to keep it as straight as possible. And again, I'm sorry for my trembling. I get really, really shaky when I have my allergies going on. Well, it's not bad. All right. So we have that shape. Okay. Now I'm going to look at this and analyze it. And how can I split it where it's going to be friendly to me to find, the area. If you look at here, if I cut it here, I'm going to be able to create 2 triangles, right? There's triangle and there's another triangle. All right. And that's pretty cool right there. Right. So I'm going to make this triangle 1 right off the bat, and I'm going to make this triangle 2. Okay. So now I'm going to try to count the base and the height. All right. Base and height. So I'm going to start with this one. What's the base? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the base is 6. And let's count the height. I'm going to start from the base all the way to the top. 1, 2, 3. So the height is, I'm going to put just like a little arrow right there and saying that the height equals 3. Okay. So it's going to be base times height. So where the height, I counted from the base all the way to the top. 1, 2, 3. Or you can also go here. 1, 2, 3, and then connect it there. Like remember, and I'm going to show you an example. Like the dotted lines that we did in the previous lessons, how they did that and they connected it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's from bottom to top, it's 3. You can also do that method as well. Or you could do it here too. 1, 2, 3, and there's your height. And you can connect it, okay? Or go from the middle. So base times height. So it's going to be 6 times 3 divided by 2. So triangle 1 area, triangle 1. Area equals base times height times 1/2. And we said 6 times, the base was 6. The height was 3 times 1/2. Okay, I'm gonna make these into fractions, multiply across. 6 times 3 is 18. And that is 2. So the area of this triangle is 9 units squared. Okay, and I'm gonna go to the next triangle, the smaller one, which is triangle 2. Okay, triangle 2. The height on this one, okay, it's really you can again, I'm gonna do this since it begins here, so I'm gonna go 1, 2 and connect it. So look, I'm gonna make those little lines. So that's 1, 2. So the height, I'm gonna use h equals 2. Okay. And the distance, all right? So what I'm going to do is look at point K to point N. Point K to point N, okay? And if I look at the y's, the distance is 2, okay? Okay, the distance is 2. So there's our base. And now we can go ahead and work on this. And the reason it's also 2, you can count here as well, okay? If you notice, even though mine is not super straight, okay, these are almost cut in half. So if you add half and half, that's 1. This is a half, that's a half, that's 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2, all right? If you want to see it that way, okay? So let's see. So it's area of second triangle. Area equals base height times 1/2, which we said the word 2 times 2. Base was 2, height was 2 times 1/2. Fractions. Area equals 4 over 2. So the area of this triangle is 2 units squared. So the area of the smaller triangle, this one, is 2 units squared. Okay, and now to find the area of the entire shape, okay, we're gonna add both areas, 9 plus 2, which is 11. So the area of the entire shape, units squared. Okay, that's the area of the entire shape. So if you want to look at these examples again, okay, pause it, rewind, go back. All right. Now I'm gonna go to problem 4. I'm gonna do the same thing. Plot the points, name them, find the area. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I have, so they keep adding a point. So now let's see. Point P, which is 1, -4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is point P. And then the next one is point Q, which is 5, -2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Right there. That's point Q. Next point is point R, 9, -4. So 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, -4. That is point R. Point S, 7, -8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. -8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is point S. And the very last point, T, 3, -8. 3, -8. And then it's telling us to connect them. And again, I can't draw very straight since I'm very, very, very shaky. But I'm trying to keep it as straight as... Oh, you see that one? Okay, that was a little bit bad. That was the worst one, but I tried. Okay, so we have a... If you notice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That polygon is called the Pentagon, right? So I'm going to do here... If you notice, I'm going to cut... Look at right here. I'm going to create a triangle. I'm going to create a triangle right there. So I have a triangle there. Okay, I'm going to create a triangle here. I'm going to create a triangle here. And I also have a square right there. So that's pretty cool. If you look at these two triangles are going to be equivalent. So whatever's the area of this one is going to be the area of that one. This is a square. That means that's a 4 by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. And then we have a triangle there. All right. So we're going to focus on finding and decompose it. Remember, the previous lessons was to decompose. So that's what we're doing with this shape. We're decomposing. We're breaking it into different shapes, right? So let's see. I'm going to focus on the first triangle. I'm going to call this triangle 1. And I'm going to use a black. So just to looks a little bit different. I'm going to make that triangle 1. Okay. I'm going to make this triangle 2. Okay. And triangle 3, and this is the shape number 4, right, which is the square, just so I keep in mind. So how am I gonna go and about and do this? So I'm gonna find the first one. Let's see what's the distance between point and point, so I know what's the base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the base of this triangle is 8, and the height is 1, 2. Okay, or you can go from here to, remember, I'm gonna make that little dotted line and connect it so you're able to see. 1, 2. So our height is 2. So it's going to be base times height, 8 times 2 divided by 2. So area, I'm going to call it triangle 1. Area equals base times height times 1/2, which we said the base was 8 and the height was 2 times 1/2. Make these into fractions, which is 8 equals 8 times 2 is 16 divided by 2. The area is 8 units squared. 18 divided by 2 is 8. Okay. And now I'm going to focus on finding the area of triangles 2 and 3. They're equivalent. They're the same. If you put them together, it's going to look like a triangle like this. And this is triangle 2, and that's triangle 3. All right, if we put them together. Okay, so let's see what our base is. Okay, from point to point. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the base is 4. Same thing for this one. And it makes sense because this square has 4. It's a 4 by 4. And what's the height? We begin from the base to the top. 1, 2. Same thing here, 1, 2. Or you can do the trick. Connected, 1, 2. Same thing for this one. 1, 2. Okay, so they're 4 by 2s. All right, they're 4 by 2s. Okay. So area of triangle 2 and 3. Now here's the thing. I'm going to put them together. So I'm going to add the bases. The base of this one is 4. The base one of this, I'm sorry. 4 and 4. All right. Or you can do it separate. I'm going to do it separate. Okay. Might as well. Just not to confuse you guys because I know this is a new lesson. Okay. So 4 by 2. So it's going to be 4 by 2. So area, base times height times 1/2. A equals 4 was the base, the height was 2 times 1/2. That's 8 divided by 2, which is area equals 4 units squared. Okay, so that's the area for triangle 2. So what's going to be the area for triangle 3? Which is the same one. So if this was 4 units squared. This is also gonna be 4 units squared, okay? So I'm gonna save my time. I have the work right there. The area for triangle 3 is also 4 units squared, okay? Okay, so now I have those. And my last one, I'm gonna focus on the area of the square, which is this one, which is a 4x4. Area equals S squared, side square, which is side 4 squared. Area equals 16 units squared, because 4 times 4 is 16. All right, and now we're gonna add the shapes together to find out what's the area of the entire pentagon, right? So we're gonna do 8 plus 4, which is 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. And 16 plus 16 equals 32 units squared. So that's the area for that shape, all right? So what I did is I added 8 plus 4 plus 4 plus 16, and it gave me that. So I added the areas that are in squared. So the area of this entire shape is 16 units, I'm sorry, 32 units squared, all right? Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Pause the video, rewind it, all right? You guys have shown me you've been doing great things with this, okay? And also in the review, you guys showed me that, you know, you're doing awesome. That made me feel better. So I'm gonna move on to number 5. Two of the coordinates of the rectangle are A 37 and B 32. The rectangle has an area of 30 units squared. Give the possible locations of the two other vertices by identifying the coordinate plane. Okay, so we're gonna use this. Okay, so the very first one I'm gonna plot is point A, which is 3, 7. 1, 2, 3, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And again, sorry that I'm very shaky. Even my voice is very shaky. Okay. And then point B, 1, which is 3, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Okay, so we can connect these. And the distance between point to point, okay, if you look at it's 5. 7 minus 2 is 5, or you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's letting us know that it wants to find the area of a rectangle that has the area that it's 30 units squared. So we already know the height, okay? So to find the area of a rectangle is base times height. We already know the height, base times height, and it wants us to equals 30 units squared, okay? So we know this. What we need to find is the base. In other words, one number, and I'm actually gonna, what number can we multiply with 5 to give us 30, right? And the other one, the clue is if we divide 30 by 5, okay? The opposite of multiplication is division. So if I would divide the 5, I divide both sides by 2 to leave B by itself, okay? 30 divided by 5 is 6, so we need to count the 6 bases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then connect. 6. That's 5. And 6. You can also do it going downwards, right? Or you can continue up. I would continue anywhere where it's within the coordinate plane. So we could have done a rectangle going this way. We can either have it, the rectangle, I drew it like this. We could have also done it like this, all right? So there's multiple answers to this one. I chose this, so now I need to be able to plot the points. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So this is -3, +2, and this one is 1, 2, 3, -3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember that we did these a few months ago, and we call these reflections. So this side is reflected to this side. This base is reflected to this base. This height is reflected. So it's like a mirror. All right. So we have something very similar to that. All right. We could have continued another one this way. All right. That's pretty cool doing that. If we actually go in here, there's actually going to be 30 unit squares. All right. So just wanted to show you an example like that. Okay. There's different ones. So at the end, you know, base times height, base 6 times 5 is 30 units squared, right? Just to show the proof, because it wanted us to show the proof to check our answer. Okay, for exercises 1 and 2, plot the points, name the shape. So in this, they named the shape for us because they told us it was a rectangle. Okay. Name the shape and determine the area of the shape. Write an expression that could be used to determine the area of the figure. Explain how each expression corresponds to the situation. All right. So it wanted us to put together, you know, exercises 1 and 2. Put this. Okay. So it was kind of like a practice on this one. I think we've had enough practices on those. All right. So I'm gonna jump to this one that we have right here. Okay. So these are the exercises, and I made a mistake. These are actually exercises 1 and 2. Okay. So these are exercises 1 and 2. And we're almost done with this. All right. It's just getting to practice and practice. All right. So it wants us to do these, okay, and put them right here. All right. So it's saying point A, which is 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's point A. Point B is 8, 6. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's point B. Point C, 10, 2, which is right there. Point D, 8, negative 3. Point E, 5, negative 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And point F, 2, 2. And I'm going to connect them. And again, sorry for my shaking. Boom. And look at what I'm going to do here. Okay, this is a tricky one, right? And again, if you need any help, let me know and I'll guide you through it, all right? I'm going to create a triangle here. Okay. If you notice at this point, if I go straight, it won't connect to this one, but you can also do this, okay? I'm going to go straight. And look at what I created here, a rectangle, right? And I can do this as well. You can get really creative with this, all right? Remember, it doesn't matter how you cut a shape up, it will always come out with the same area, okay? I have a triangle here, and look at what I do here, okay? It doesn't matter how you split it up, okay? You can get really creative. Some people can go across and cut it from here and then do different cuts. That's up to you, okay? It's your shape, but as long as you are able to get the area, all right? So I'm gonna say this is triangle 1. I'm gonna say this is shape 2. I'm gonna say the word shape. This is shape 3, shape 4, and finally shape 5. All right. So let's go ahead and try to find the area of each one. So I'm gonna focus on shape 1, which is this one right here. So let's see the base 1, 2, 3, 4. So the base is 4. So I'm gonna keep in mind. I'm gonna say shape 1. Base times height times 1/2. Just so I remind myself, shape 2. That's a rectangle, so I'm gonna say base times height. Shape 3, it's also a rectangle. Base times height. Shape 4 is a triangle, so that's gonna be base times height times 1/2. And shape 5 is also a triangle, base times height times 1/2. Okay, so first one is gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2 is the height. Again, you can use a trick and use the tally marks and count up 1, 2. All right, so it's gonna be a 4x2. Okay, so I'm gonna say shape 1, which we said base times height times 1/2. That's gonna be a 4x2. 4x2 times 1/2. That's 8/2, which area equals 4 units squared for the first triangle. Okay. Now I'm going to shape 2. So this is the area of shape 1 is 4 units squared. I notice that shape 2, I'm gonna working with a rectangle, so it's base times height. So I'm gonna go right here. Base times height. So let's see. The height, here it is. It's only 1, and the base is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a 4x1. One times 4. So area equals 4 units squared for this one. So the area of this small, super skinny triangle rectangle is 4 units squared. The next one, I'm working on the big one, which is also a rectangle. Shape 3. Base times height. So let's see. It's 1, 2, 3. And then the base, or the height of the base is actually 3. 1, 2, 3. And the height, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's a 3x9. So 3 times 9. So the area of this one is 9 times 3 is 27 units squared. So that's the area for this one. Now we're gonna focus on this shape 4, which is a triangle, base times height. So shape 4. Base times height times 1/2. Okay, so let's see what the base is. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And the height is 1, 2, 3. So it's gonna be 5/3. 5 times 3 divided by 2. Base was 5, 3, height was 3 divided by 2. So it's saying 15/2. The area of that one equals 7.5 units squared. Okay, which is the area of this one. And then we're gonna find the area of shape 5, which is also a triangle. Base times height times 1/2. And let's find the base. From point D to point B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so the base is 9, and then the height, 1, 2, or you can do this. Connected, and it's 1, 2. So it's a 9x2, 9 times 2 times 1/2. Make it into fractions. 9 times 2 is 18 divided by 2. So the area of this triangle is 9 units squared. Okay, and now I'm gonna add all these areas to get the area of the entire shape. All right. So here we go. So I'm gonna do little by little. 4 plus 4, that's 8, plus 27. Now I'm adding it with this one. 8 plus 27 is 35. 35 plus 7.5 is 42.5. So now I added this one, and then 42.5 plus 9. Gotta be careful with this. It's 51.5. So the area of the entire shape is 51.5 units squared, right? So I added all of these that I put a square outside, right? I added all those areas to find the surface area, to find the entire area of this shape, right? So again, if you want to look at this, okay, you can create your own if you want. That's really up to you. Okay, that's really up to you. But I just wanted to show you an example. Remember, it doesn't matter how you cut it, the shape will always, the area, I'm sorry, will always come out being the same. All right, I'm gonna jump to number 2. Okay, it's telling me to use these points right here. So it's negative 9, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, negative 9, positive 6. So I'm gonna go up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's right there. So that's point X. Y is negative 2, 1. Negative 1, I'm sorry, which is right there. That's point Y. And the last one is negative 8, negative 7. That's negative 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Which is right there. And that's point Z. Now I'm going to connect them to the best of my ability. Well, that was good. This one's going to be the hardest one. Okay. And then this one. Okay, boom. All right. So I'm going to do the very same thing with it when I did with the very first problem. Kind of want to create here a rectangle. I can see it already. Wow, that's bad. Okay. All right. So now if we look at this, all right, I'm going to call this shape 1, shape 2, and shape 3. All right. So I'm going to need to find the area of this shape, and the third shape, and add the area of all the shapes. Okay. Those 3 triangles, and then find the area of this rectangle, and it's going to let us know what's the area of that. So we need to add these 3 triangles and subtract it from the area of the giant rectangle. All right. So, okay. So I'm going to call it triangle 1, which is area equals base times height times 1/2. So let's see what's triangle 1. Let's see what the area is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the base. Okay. That's the base. And then I'm going to count up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's a 7 by 7. So the height is 7 and the base is 7. That's simple. So I'm going to do area equals 7 times 7. 1/2. So base and height. Fractions. So it's 49 over 2. Okay. And if I divide that, 49 over 2, it's 24.5 units squared. Okay. And I can show the work here as well, just to double check. That's 4, 0, 9, 4, 8. And here it is, this is a 24.5, all right? Now triangle 2, area equals base times height, times 1/2, okay? So which is this one. So I'm gonna count, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the base and the height, it's 6 by 6, and then we need to divide it by 2, okay? So 6 times 6 divided by 2, which is 36. 6 times 6 is 36 divided by 2. So the area of this one, 36 divided by 2 is 18 units squared. Okay, so now we found the area of this one. Now we need to focus on the skinny one. The base is 1, and then the height is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, right? So the height is 13. Okay, so it's gonna be 13 times 1 and then divide that by 2. So triangle 3, area equals base times height. We said that the base was 1, the height was 13. So base times height is 13 divided by 2. That's 6.5 units. Area equals units squared. Where did I get the 6.5? And I got it right there. All right. Now I need to find the area of this rectangle. So let's see. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the base is 7, and the height is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. So it's a 7 by 13. So the height is 13. 7 by 13. So a rectangle. Okay. Area equals base times height. So it's 13 by 7. That's 2. So it's 91. So the area of the rectangle is 91 units squared. Okay. Now what we need to do is add these 3 areas and subtract it from the rectangle, right? These are the 3 triangles. So we need to add the triangles and then subtract it from the rectangle. So 24.5, 18, and 6.5. Okay, it helps to add the decimal at the end for 18, so you don't get confused. That's 10, carry the 1. 8 plus 6 is 14. Okay, plus 4 is 18, 19. Carry the 1. That's 2, 3, 49. So in between those are 49. And now we're going to subtract the 91 minus the 49. So the rectangle minus the 3 triangles. Borrow 42 units. Okay, squared. So that's the area of, okay, that's the area of this triangle right here. 42 units squared. All right. So that's pretty cool on that. That's pretty cool on that. If you have any questions, all right, on the lesson, let me know, you guys. Okay. I know, and I know it's a lot and asking a lot. Okay. For these ones, I'm considering then extra credit. All right. It's challenges. All right. Don't have don't have a coordinate plane, but that was today's lesson. All right, you guys, if you have any questions, let me know. All right, here's the actual the homework. All right, so you're gonna plot these. Okay, and here's the other one. Plot these. Okay, and follow the instructions. And if you have any questions, let me know. I can send you a video, I'll guide you through it. All right, you guys are gonna do great. In lesson 7, you destroyed it. Again, thank you guys for everything. I hope you guys have a good day, and then I'll see you guys for lesson 9. All right, have a good one, guys.